What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. Gotta put on my glasses because I'm old and I can't see my notes without my glasses. But nonetheless, you found yourself in the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Marko Somonivic being named to the second team All Summer League. We'll also talk about Dalen Terry's injury update, and then we'll get into a season prediction, this time for Nikola Vucevic. We do all that and more on today's Chicago Bulls Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, beautiful people, thank you for joining me. We're now jumping right in. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me talking Bulls news. And first up, Marko Somonivic was named to the All Summer League second team. Now, it's an honor, right? I don't want to make little of it or light of it. Like, yeah, shout out to Marko for playing well enough in Summer League to be named to one of the All Summer League teams. Dalen Terry was not named to one, but Marko Somonovic's second Summer League, his averages were 15.6 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game on over 50% shooting overall from the field, and that's surprising considering that his three ball really did not fall for him throughout the whole Summer League. He did have a game in which he put up a very low output, I think, in the second Summer League game. So even his average of 5.6 points per game is probably a little bit lower than what it would have been had he, at least had a solid outing in that second game of Summer League. But nonetheless, shout out to Marko for making the second team when it comes to the Summer League. Like I said before, with Marko, though, it's not really – all these other accolades don't matter. We need to see Marko at this point do it at the NBA level. Otherwise, it really means nothing. Shout out to him for playing well in Summer League. Shout out to him for putting on the weight and putting in the work, things like that. I don't want to make light of that at all. But really, when it comes to Marko, at this point, we know Marko. Marko was dominated over in EuroLeague. He's dominated the G League at this point. He gets nothing left out of this. This was a tune-up. Shout out to him for, like I said, doing the things that he did in the Summer League. But at this point, we need to see Marko Somonivic give something to the actual main roster on the NBA for the Chicago Bulls in this upcoming season, or really it's all for naught at this point. Like, if he can't, and I'm not expecting him to do these same averages or anything, even anywhere close to it in his first full season being on the NBA roster, hopefully, but I do want to see Marko have a much better output. Looks like he belongs a little bit more, things like that this year in the NBA. But shout out to him. Now, we did get an update on Dalen Terry and his hamstring. It is something minor. The exact quote from a source was, "He's all good." So Dalen Terry is going to be ready to go by training camp. We already knew that. I said that on last week's or yesterday's episode. It really all shaped up to be, we knew what it was going to be. So before we get into our prediction for Nikola Vucevic's season, we do need to talk about Bleacher Report ranking the starting fives in the NBA. And so the Bulls in this ranked number 18th amongst all starting fives. Now, I agree with most of this list, and a lot of this list is based off if those teams are fully healthy. So we're going to talk about the first five. Golden State Warriors at number 1, Boston Celtics number 2, the Philadelphia 76ers at number 3, the Los Angeles Clippers at number 4, and then you have the Denver Nuggets rounding out the top 5 at number 5. Following that, the Brooklyn Nets at 6, Phoenix Suns at 7, Minnesota Timberwolves at 8, the Milwaukee Bucks at 9, and then you got the Memphis Grizzlies at 10. Now, some teams surrounding and that are ranked above the Chicago Bulls. Surprisingly, Cleveland Cavaliers are ranked above the Bulls at number 11. Dallas Mavericks at number 13 for the Atlanta Hawks. Then you got 14th for the New Orleans Pelicans, 15th for the Miami Heat, 16th for the Toronto Raptors. The Portland Trail Blazers coming in at number 17, and number 18, the Chicago Bulls. I'm looking at this, and I think the Bulls should have been ranked a little bit higher. I know this is a Bulls channel, so maybe I'm being a bit of a Bulls homer, but I know a lot of Bulls fans have also questioned if the Bulls are going to be making the playoffs, right? The Bulls being 18th ranked in this list is just going to keep that going, but I'm looking at it like I'm not putting Portland's roster, even though that they have some talent here. We haven't seen it come together. Like, that's, while it's shaped up to be a really good offensive starting lineup, I don't trust the defense capability there. Even ranking the New Orleans Pelicans at number 14. Again, you're betting on Zion Williamson's health in 2022. I'm not betting on any health from Zion Williamson, considering he has not shown the ability to stay healthy yet. And you guys know I've been very vocal. I don't rank the Atlanta Hawks roster above the Chicago Bulls. Yes, they added DeJounte Murray, who is a very good defender and two-way player overall, but you still got John Collins, Clint Capella, Hunter there, And that's a lot of question marks in that starting five of how it's going to work defensively for me. The Dallas Mavericks are rated a little bit lower than what I would have rated them on this as well. It's just a lot of questions as far as that. But like I said, the Chicago Bulls ranked number 18th. Even in this, they mentioned some of the things with the 3-point shooting, things like that for the Chicago Bulls, and why they're ranked so low on this one. The plus minus of -11. But again, looking at the Bulls roster and what they were able to give, the fact that we didn't have Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams, who are probably the best two defenders in that starting lineup when everything's all going and firing on all cylinders, we really didn't get to see much of that. So do expect the Chicago Bulls to show better than the 18th overall starting five in the NBA, but it remains to be seen. The Bulls do have a lot of doubters from the inside, from outside of Bulls Nation as well. They're going to have to show it in this upcoming season, but I want to hear from you guys down below. What do you think about the Bulls roster, the starting five being ranked number 18th in the NBA overall out of all 30 teams? Do you think some teams were rated above the Bulls that shouldn't have been? Do you think the Bulls were maybe rated too high? Let me know all that down below and what you think about the Bulls rating. I'll also put this one over in the community tab. One other thing before we get into the season predictions for Nikola Vucevic that I do want to talk about is the Bulls Summers Festival is coming up the first weekend in September. It's free to attend. It's going to be a great thing. Make sure you guys are tuned in and show up. I'm going to be there. So if you guys want to tune in, or maybe link up, whatever it is, I will be at the Bulls Summer Festival this September in Chicago. It's the first annual Summer Fest for the Chicago Bulls, and I think we all need to turn out. I think Pat the Designer is coming as well, some other Bulls creators. It should be a fun time over the course of those 3 days, so make sure you guys are tuned in and try to attend if you can. I think it's going to be a fun event. Let's go ahead and get into it. We've been doing our season predictions, and we're going to we're going to get into doing the one for Nikola Vucevic. What do I want to see from Nikola Vucevic in the upcoming season in 2022-23? Well, before we can talk about that, we got to talk about his 2021-22 season. Nikola Vucevic had averages of 17.6 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists per game, and a PER of 18.27, good for 43rd overall in the league. He shot that on a 49% field goal percentage and a 34% three-point percentage, which, even though he didn't hit the threes at the rate that we would want him to, it was the fourth best three-point percentage of his career. He also had a defensive rating of 109.6, with his good for number 8th amongst all centers in the NBA, and his career defensive rating is a 105.8. We talked about defensive rating before on yesterday's episode. You want to be as close to 100. The lower number is the better number with defensive rating. And where Nicholas stacked up against other centers in the NBA. So this is where he stacks up at his position specifically. I know a lot of people are down on Nikola Vucevic overall and what he gave in last season. And listen, he would say he did not play up to his potential at all, or what he's used to giving. But one thing with Nikola Vucevic is that he still stacked up really good positionally. He was 5th amongst all centers in scoring, 6th in rebounding, 5th in assists, 4th in steals, 8th in blocks, 8th in field goal percentage overall, 7th in three-point percentage, and 3rd in total minutes played, and 5th in total points scored for his position. That's something that I've been telling you guys for a while with Nikola Vucevic. Yes, he's not the best center, but he's not the best defensive center, but he's not by far not the worst either. With Bulls fans, we typically get into this mindset where it's either everything or nothing. So people try to make it seem like Nikola Vucevic is terrible defensively. He's not. Did he get caught bad in some positions? Absolutely, but that's not just on Nikola Vucevic. That is also on his guards at the point of attack defense. The defensive numbers for Nikola Vucevic took a mighty big leap once Lonzo Ball was off the court and out of the game. You know why? Because like I said before, Lonzo, in the way that he communicates, he makes the other guards and wings out there better defenders than what they are just by his communication alone. And that affects the centers as well. When your guards can't keep their man from penetrating, your centers get sometimes caught in weird positions. And because Nikola Vucevic isn't the best shot blocker, not the most creative or athletic shot blocker, it absolutely affected it. Now, again, we're not going to throw Nikola all the bell either, because there were some times, especially in pick and roll defense, especially sometimes one-on-one, that Nikola Vucevic was not the best and did cost the Bulls some games. But the key thing is with Nikola Vucevic, he's not the worst. A lot of people on Bulls Nation want Miles Turner. Guess what? Nikola Vucevic had a better defensive rating last season than Miles Turner and has had an either better or at least similar, I'm talking about within a less than a full point the same defensive rating as Miles Turner almost every year that Miles Turner has been in the NBA. Now, there were a couple of outliers where Miles Turner was near the 101 defensive rating that Nikola Vucevic just didn't get close to at all. But it's not that big of a gap defensively. Now, again, defensive rating, a lot goes into that. Like with any stat, it's just a stat. It's not a representation of the full game. So, yeah, there's still some leeway there. But all I'm saying is that Nikola Vucevic was not as bad as some Bulls fans would have you believe. And as much as Bulls fans thought that, or still think that the key to everything is trading Nikola Vucevic, there are even some Bulls fans that think in this upcoming season that Andre Drummond's going to take over as the starting center. It's not happening, people. Andre Drummond is not as good of an overall center as Nikola Vucevic at this stage of his career, even with Nikola being in his 30s and Andre Drummond being in his 20s. It's just not going to happen. So we have to be realistic in what do we do have in Nikola Vucevic, right? Before I can talk about what I expect or I want to see from Vuce in his upcoming season, let's be clear in what we have. We have a center here that is top 10 in every statistical category for his position. And we saw this player play next to a 6'4" starting power forward next to him for the majority, all but 15 games last season. Well, even that. Patrick Williams played 15 total games. He didn't start all those 15 games. So other than that, we had a 6'4" power forward in Javonte Green playing next to Nikola Vucevic for most of last season. That is going to make it difficult on any starting front court in the NBA. And as good as Javonte is, as much of a dog as Javonte Green is, right? There was times where he just got outworked because of length. There's nothing that he could have done for that. So with that, getting back to Vuce, what do I expect to see from Nikola Vucevic in this upcoming season? It's really clear, at least for me. I want to see those same averages. I want to see those same. You can give me that same output. Increase the PER, increase the efficiency a little bit better. I think if Nikola Vucevic gave us that same 17 and 11 on more like a 20 PER or 20 player efficiency rating, rather than an 18.7, keep in mind that 20 would have put him in the top 30 of the league just about. If he can give us that at a better percentage, and again, keep in mind, his percentages weren't terrible. Almost 50% shooting from the field overall, almost 34% from three-point range. Overall, those aren't terrible percentages, but we need to see him do it a little bit more consistent. We need to see him not settle for the outside shot as much as he did last season, but we also need to see this coaching staff use him better. There were several times in last season, I've talked about this a lot, where Nick was cooking for a quarter or cooking for a half. And then Billy Donovan just did not go to him. He got 3 more shot attempts the rest of the game. Yes, we know that Nikola Vucevic is the third, and maybe even in this upcoming season, in this upcoming season, maybe even the fourth option if Patrick Williams takes this leap that so many of us want to see Patrick Williams take. But going into this 2022-23 season, I need to see Vuce better locked in defensively, and hopefully we see a better defensive output from him just by having a player next to him that has length, that has size, and Patrick Williams, things like that. Hopefully we get a full season of them. But I want to see Nikola Vucevic get better at his efficiency. I want to see him call for the ball more down low. I want to see him use his size to his advantage. No more settling for those three-point shots. But what Nikola Vucevic gives us scoring-wise as far as the number, what he gives us rebounding-wise as far as the number, those things are great from your third best player on your team, or what's supposed to be your third option on your team. Yeah, so I think we need to I understand it. I understand that a lot of the times, especially where Nikola Vucevic gets called out of position and things like that, why we have the feelings that we do with Nikola as a fan base. But Nikola Vucevic is not the key to all the Bulls' problems. It's not. We did need to improve the bench. We'll see how much that bench actually did improve. But let me get back to it. What do I want to see from Vuce this season? I want to see better efficiency. I want to see him being down low, working inside out a little bit more. I want to see the coaching staff use him a little bit better to that skill set as well. I want to see Nikola Vucevic get more confident. Sometimes when that shot didn't fall early for Vuce, you know it was going to be a bad game for Vuce. I want to see his confidence build back up. I want to see him thrive more in that role and knowing what to do with less opportunities than he had when he was in the Orlando Magic, even less opportunities than what he had his first partial season here with the Chicago Bulls, and for him to step up and grow into that role of being the third or fourth best player, depending on who takes a leap this season. And that's what I want to see from Vuce. Like, I'm not going to call for, do I want to see better from Vuce? Yeah, but guess what? A 109.6 defensive rating is not terrible. If we can get that back, For several seasons in his career, he had a 105 around that point defensive rating. That is a great defensive rating when you're trying to get as close to 100 as possible. I want to see Nikola Vucevic get back to that, but I do think better defensive scheme, better overall team defense to put him in better situations, having better defensive players around and next to him, that we're going to see a better defensive output from Nikola Vucevic. I do think that with betting on continuity, this front office betting on continuity, it really comes down to what do you get from Vooch now with more continuity on this team, with another season of him being in that role. What do you get from Vooch? Because almost everything else, the raw stats-wise, he's given us what we need. But as we know, for people who actually watch the game, right? That's why I do use stats to a degree. But for people who watch the game, sometimes Vooch just wasn't engaged out there. Sometimes Vooch didn't call for the ball when he had mismatches. Sometimes Vooch was not aggressive as we would have liked him to. Sometimes Vooch didn't pass the ball when he should. Tighten up those things, right? It's not really, when it comes to Nikola Vucevic, it's not really about a stat, right? It's not really about that per se. It's about giving better effort, being better locked in on offense and defense for Nikola Vucevic in this upcoming 2022-23 season. I will even go on to say, like I said, those averages can stay the same. Give me better efficiency, give me better locked in, give me better effort, give me more focus. And that version of Nikola Vucevic is one that I can't find too many holes with, even though many fans will have you to believe that you need more than that. That's what I have to say. That's my season prediction for Nikola Vucevic. As far as averages, I'm going to say this with Vooch. I say that scoring may take a tick down again because I'm hoping Patrick Williams takes the leap. So I'm guessing we're going to have averages of 15 points per game from Nikola Vucevic, 12 rebounds per game, about 4 assists per game for Nikola Vucevic, but higher efficiency on that scoring. I'm looking for Vooch to be 20 PER next year, get that field goal, the 3-point field goal percentage up to about 35, 36%. Keep that 2-point field goal percentage, the overall field goal percentage at around 49%. Probably dip that down. Let's be realistic, 48 to 50 percentage from him this upcoming season. And to me, that is a success for Nikola Vucevic and this Bulls team, considering the role that he's coming in playing with continuity. Let me know what you guys think down below. And there's still realm for possibility of, with efficiency going up, his scoring does go up. So if we get an 18 or 19 point per game season from Nikola Vucevic, keeping everything else about the same, but that efficiency gets better easily. If Vooch shot the 3 ball at a more what he had done in probably the previous 3 seasons before this one, we're talking about a player that's averaging about, at that point, about 19 and a half and 11. And that's a hell of a output for a player that's supposed to be your 3rd best offensive player. So let me know what you guys think about that down below. Let me know some of your expectations for Vooch. Some of the other Chicago Bulls, sound off down below. I appreciate you guys. I love interacting with you guys so much. You are what makes Chicago Bulls Central the special community that it is. If you want to follow me personally, you can do so at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. If you want to follow the show, you can do so at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and our voicemail, the number to do so is 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And I thank you guys. And like I like to end everything on, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.